Not exactly a good day for the House of Mouse. Yesterday, I'm sure you saw a lot of the the posters for the Little Mermaid. I don't know. They don't have it on this one. Social media is not happy with the CGI characters from the new Little Mermaid live-action movie. They released some posters of them, and the reaction is pretty bad. I mean, look how awful these look. This looks bad. It's too realistic. Like, you ever look at a fish and say, what a cute fish? I mean, this looks awful. It's really bad. Even the late night people were making fun of it. And those guys are the biggest shills on the planet. They live to shill. But they're all dunking on this awful flounder. I'm really curious to what the box office for this movie is going to look like. Let's say that. Because it could do well, and it could flop. I'm thinking it's probably going to be disappointing. I don't know if it'll completely flop. I think it might barely make its money back. We'll see. I just can't see people rushing out to watch this. This is so bad. I'm not a fan of live-action remakes of animated movies. I think you just leave it alone. Why don't you remaster the original? With today's technology, you can make those movies look so good if you clean them up and put them out on like a 4K release. Those movies look fantastic. A lot of them hold up to today. The Lion King, the animated Lion King, looks amazing in 4K. It's really good. Why don't you just re-release those? But, you know, they want to do this, and they add nothing. They always look bad and soulless. So, we'll see. I'm thinking this movie's not going to do that well, but, you know, you never know. You never know. One movie that's finally out for public opinion is Pan and Wendy. The reviews are in. Remember Pan and Wendy? The movie that Disney didn't want to put in the theaters. They put it on Disney Plus, which should tell you something. I was wondering what the critics were going to say about it. And we can head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and get a little bit of an idea. Surprisingly, not playing ball very well. 69% for critics, which is pretty low, to be honest. But it's even worse with the audience. And audiences are usually pretty forgiving. 40%. 40% for this movie. So yet another Disney failure. Now, what are the numbers on Disney Plus? Well, we're not going to know. We're not going to know for a couple of weeks because Disney will never release that information. This is what sucks about streaming is we can't really ever gauge how popular something is. We have to take the company's word for it. So I imagine they might come out and say, yeah, it's great. It's doing great numbers. Well, what are those great numbers? Well, they'll never tell us. The best we'll get are some Nielsen numbers eventually. And they're not even what the actual numbers really are. It's like an estimate. But yeah, this movie's at 40%. Audiences do not appear to like it. Critics don't even seem like they like it. What's funny is, like many of Disney movies, a lot of these reviews will be like, well, you know, it's not that great. 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, like giving it a fresh thing. But I'm surprised it's not up there in the 80s. They're being a little harsh on it. I guess this isn't one they wanted to play ball with, but the audience scores are the best. Let's take a look at some of these. I'd say worst remake they have done yet. They didn't make us fall in love with the new characters. They really rushed into it. This movie is for children. It can barely hold an adult's attention. Its plot is rushed, but the movie is so slow and boring. I gave it a chance, but if this is the new Disney we can look to, there's not much to look forward to. Here's another one. Netherland seems like a lifeless island. The dark color tones and green tint give the film an amateur look. There is no chemistry between Peter and Wendy, and the relationship between the three kids and their parents is poorly developed. Captain Hook looks nothing like the original character, both in appearance and manner, and his backstory relies more on fan theories than on the source material. Here's someone giving it 5 stars to stick it to the racist. Didn't even watch it. They run in. Oh, Disney, you leave that $1 billion company alone. Here's 2 stars. The story was unique, and I liked it. Jude Law was fantastic at playing Captain Hook, and Ever Anderson was a great Wendy. Wendy's brothers were very good, too. I found that the actor that played Peter Pan this time, very dry and boring. Didn't feel like Peter Pan whatsoever, and they could have gotten way better child actors. Adaptation, it's not funny, it's boring. A complete mess, even by modern standards, makes the recent Pinocchio look good. Oh, that movie is awful. The Disney live-action remake of Pinocchio is awful. The one that's on Netflix by Del Toro is actually a very interesting movie. Has some problems, but at least it does its own thing. Like, that's a good modern interpretation of that story because it brings something different. It's not just a one-to-one remake like a lot of this Disney bullshit, which, I don't think ages well. So, yeah, not going over very well with audiences or critics. So, that's 2 for Disney. 2 live-action remakes falling flat. Peter Pan and Wendy falls flat. And The Little Mermaid still getting a lot of criticism because of their awful looking art. So that's where we're at. What's Disney going to do? I do wonder what their box office looks like this year. Guardians of the Galaxy coming up real soon. That's going to say a lot for the superhero genre itself, how that movie performs, because that is, from all that I hear, a good movie. So what do you say if that one fails? It's going to be interesting to watch that movie's box office. And then, of course, you have Little Mermaid, Elemental. There's some other movie. I think it's called Wish. How do these all perform? I mean, these are going to be Disney's core market, too. So there's a lot of interesting stuff to watch with them right now. This could be one of their worst years, or it could be a good year. We'll see. So far, it hasn't started off very good with their Marvel stuff. Ant-Man losing money is not good for them. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.